on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Thursday. I cannot believe how fast this week went, obviously due to the holidays, but man, it's already Thursday. That's nuts. Now, if we have a look at what's going on today, really not much. I mean, minor gains, minor losses. Bitcoin up 0.4, Ethereum down 0.6, XRP down 0.5, EOS up 1%. Nothing really too exciting today in the markets. Now, I had a little bit of a laugh to myself earlier. I was like, I wonder if Proof of Keys Day is actually going to have any kind of an effect on the market whatsoever. So I was just checking out the volume over the past day, and you could see it kind of started off around, 15 billion, starts creeping up, 16, okay, right around here. Now we're 17 billion, 16 billion, and now we're back down again. So I wonder if the volume is lower just because people are actually pulling their coins off the market, and if there's no trading going on, or if it's just total coincidence and it has no correlation. That could be the case too. I just thought it was interesting to bring up. Now, looking at what's going on, we do have a $3,888 Bitcoin, $150 Ethereum, and a 36-cent XRP. If we have a look at the biggest gainers of the day, we have Chainlink up 15%, Ravane 10%, Icon 5%, Maximine coin, now that's a new one to me, Cash, Decred, Dentacoin, Zcoin, Elastos, and Tron, all doing quite well today. Now, obviously, if we have a look at what's going on, we are still just consolidating. Everyone is on the edge of their seats. What is going on? Is Bitcoin gonna, take off all the way up to this, line right here around that $5,500? Are we gonna go lower? Well, crazy enough, and this is one of the first times I've seen this in a long time, but the technicals on TradingView, people are actually saying buy. And usually it's always in like a mild sell or a strong sell, but today they're actually saying buy. This is interesting moving forward. But before we go on, I know there's a big question on everybody's mind because Ethereum has recently overtaken XRP for the number 2 spot. So a lot of people are actually asking about this Ethereum chart. Is now a good time to buy Ethereum? A lot of people in the community, in the Telegram, are talking about Ethereum. So let's have a look. Well, obviously you see that Binance is supporting the upcoming Ethereum Constantinople hard fork. So no, this is not like the Bitcoin Cash hard fork. You're not going to get 2 different coins. You're not going to be able to, right? No, this hard fork is controlled. The old chain will become dead and the new chain will survive. And by the way, if you're holding Ethereum, don't freak out, don't worry. You don't have to do anything. It's all automatic and it happens in the background. But looking at these forks that have happened, they're good indicators of what people tend to do price-wise, okay? So as a project in continuous development, we know that Ethereum occasionally has to undergo these upgrades, forks, okay? So the next of these is Constantinople, and it's going to bring a bunch of changes to Ethereum's rules about block rewards and new ETH generation implemented into the chain. It's scheduled to go live around block 7,080,000, which who's looking at the blocks, right? It's probably going to fall sometime in the middle of this month. We don't know the exact day, but as it gets closer, we'll have a better estimate. So while some have suggested that the fork is in fact a bullish sign for Ethereum, the question is, how should you approach this? I mean, obviously, I would never suggest buying something that just did this personally, but don't listen to me. Let's look at what's going on before we make any irrational decisions, okay? So the one thing that we have to note is that not all forks are created equal. This is the first real important thing, okay? So you'll see right here that there's 5 forks that we can look at. Now, 2 of them, you have Homestead and Byzantium, were planned, okay? But the other 3 were responses to unexpected problems that emerged within the network. Now, just so you guys know, all of this is from Gate.io Research Institute, okay? And here's the charts down here. I'll drop a link in the description if you guys want to check it out. So for each of the 5 forks, they collected data for 30 days, 10 days leading up to the fork, and then 20 days after it, and they visualize the price information before and after the fork. In addition to the daily price data, they also calculated the daily price variance. So here is the conclusion. The peak of the price fluctuations for the 3 unplanned hard forks, which was the DAO, Ethereum Improvement Proposal 150, and Spurious Dragon, occurred on the day of the fork, according to the graph that they made. Fluctuation after the fork was slightly greater than before the fork. So this tells us that ones that happen in response to upgrades tend to get a lot of momentum right when they fork. right? Like they fork and then people come in and they buy, right? Now, for the two planned forks, which have so far been Homestead and Byzantium, the peak appeared in the pre-fork period and price fluctuations significantly decreased after the fork. So what does this tell us? Well, if the past does play out again, we know that Constantinople is a planned hard fork. So if we look at what's happened, it looks like the price actually increases up to the fork and then tends to slowly die off after that, right? So it's just your typical buy the rumor, sell the news. So whether the fork was planned or not, the interesting thing is that they found that the fluctuations are always higher in the first 10 days of the fork compared to the second 10 days. So basically, fork, next 10 days, craziness, and then it tends to level out. However, if you're trying to cash in on the run-up, I don't want to say you missed it because I still think Ethereum has a lot more room to grow, but short term, the best place to accumulate may have actually been down in this region. So that's basically what's going on. However, it's your choice. Do you want to buy in? You have the information now. This is what they're saying. Am I personally buying Ethereum right now? No. That's me though, personally. I have nothing against Ethereum. I'm just not personally buying right now. I already have Ethereum anyway. So that being said, yeah, that's pretty much that. So moving on, let's do something fun real quick. So I saw this on Reddit, and I guess we're in the year of the pig, according to that stuff. So here you go, right here. You got all the animals. You got the rat, the tiger, the dragon, and then these are the corresponding coins. So which one are you? Just look up what year you are. Find out your the year you were born, and then it'll tell you what coin you were. I'm not going to tell you which one I am. I'll tell you tomorrow. Let's see if you guys can guess what year I was born. Who do you think I am on this chart? And drop below which one you got. I don't even know what these guys are. Bisque. I never heard of that. And this thing right here? Maybe you guys know? Anyway, just having some fun, guys. I know you want to talk about Bitcoin and prices and everything. We don't want to have fun with these little wheels. So let's move on and talk about what's going on with Bitcoin. So there was an interesting thing that came out, and it's the GTI Vera Convergence Divergence Indicator. What the heck is that? Don't worry. I'm going to tell you, okay? Now, this came out from Bloomberg, so be careful. I'm always a little skeptical when I get news from these bigger news outlets like, okay, what's your motive? Why are you bullish? Why are you bearish, right? So the thing is that Bitcoin is actually in its longest buying streak in 6 months. So if the current buying pressure persists, then they think that it could continue to see a rise in prices. So they're saying that Bitcoin could possibly still go up. However, I do want to say it's worth noting that the technical indicator has in August of the year suggested that we had came to an end around $6,500. And, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but yeah, you guys know what happened there, okay? So just pointing that out. But anyway, getting back to it, I wanted to talk about Matty Greenspan. He's over at eToro, and he noted that he's seeing an industry that's growing at a rapid pace with new projects coming online and hiring at a rapid pace, and ended up plummeting all the way down. Sorry guys, my heat is really hot in this house and I want to kind of get up and turn it off, but screw it. I'm just going to keep doing the video. Anyway, so he says usually the best thing to do is buy low and sell high. So if we are going to buy technical analysis, we very easily see on the chart that we are much closer to the bottom than we are to the top. I mean, that's just obvious. If you zoom out, always ads on this thing. If you zoom out, look, I mean, you can wait for a better buying opportunity, but you've already knocked off. Literally, here we are. That means everything from this point all the way up here, all of this is completely canceled out. It's a hell of a time to get into it, a hell of a discount, but not giving financial advice. Also want to note that senior Bloomberg intelligence analyst Mike McClone says that the bump may be tied to the new year. He does expect the potential rally to be short-lived, unfortunately. So the reaction of that selling is a good reason for the bounce. Now is about the duration of the bounce before resuming what is likely a longer-term bear market. Guys, I have to stop for a second and turn off the heat. I don't know why my girlfriend has it so high. 1 second. All right, I'm back, guys. Sorry about that. Jeez, I get it. It's winter, but do we have to have the house literally on fire? Okay, so moving on to the, it broke a sweat just walking over there. So talking about Bitcoin, here's where we are. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep rolling on. Now, the thing that I want to focus on, everybody's always focused on the all-time highs, right? Oh, yeah, it was at 20K, but it fell. But interestingly enough, you have Frogalocalypse, which, by the way, I love that name, Frogalocalypse. It's fun to say. He says, I've been saying it for years. Don't look at the all-time highs. Look at the yearly lows. That will tell you the growth in hodlers. And check this out. If you look at the all-time lows, you see that Bitcoin is constantly breaking it, with the exception of 2015. I mean, it fell a little bit lower. So 2012, $4. 2013, $65. 2014, $200. 2015, $185. Okay, whatever. 2016, $365. 2017, $780. And now 2018, which is done. 2018 is done. We're in 2019. Officially confirmed the low of 3,200. So how can we say that this is a dying asset class, right? I mean, you just got to look at that, okay? And, you know, relative to today's price, this is especially true for people who bought in 2016 or earlier. Regardless of whether they bought at the bottom or yearly highs, these hodlers have still made at least 1,000% return in USD terms. Obviously, we have a lot more to go moving forward from here. I mean, we could go sideways for quite a while before, you know, retesting these new highs. We have quite a long ways to go, but it is not impossible. Now, let's talk about what everyone is celebrating today, and that is the Genesis block for Bitcoin. So, happy birthday, Bitcoin, today at 1850 UTC, or roughly 1:15 p.m. Eastern Time, which is hasn't even happened yet, actually, at the time of making this video, will mark the exact 10th birthday of the Bitcoin blockchain, the address which received the first mining reward, and therefore the first 50 Bitcoins. Man, can you imagine back in the day, you would get 50 Bitcoins as a mining reward? And these dudes were getting this on their laptop. Oh, so jealous, so jealous. But we have to look at where it all started. The global financial crisis, okay, of the 21st century, we're talking about the one that happened in 2008, was the key motivator for Bitcoin, right? And that's how it was birthed and was mined on January 3rd, 2009. Now let's scroll down. Let's talk about this. Let's give our man Satoshi Nakamoto a little bit of spotlight. Come on, it's the birthday. They deserve a day. So he says it's very attractive to the libertarian viewpoint if we explain it properly. And this is him talking about how he thinks that Bitcoin will be the answer to fiat money. He says, I'm better with code than with words. And he went on to discuss, you know, the blockchain. So this was after the blockchain was up and running. He said, you could say coins are issued by the majority. They are issued in limited predetermined amount. Indeed, there is nobody to act as central banks or federal reserves to adjust the money supply as the population of user grows. That would have required a trusted party to determine the value. Because I don't know a way for software to know the real world value of things, it was very clear that if we wanted to trust someone to actively manage the money supply, to peg it to something, the rules could have been programmed for that. So in this sense, it's more typical of a precious metal. Instead of the supply changing to keep the value the same, the supply is predetermined and value changes. As the number of users grow, the value per coin increases. It has the potential for a positive feedback loop. As users increase, the value goes up, which could attract more users to take advantage of the increasing value. And going back to Frogalocalypse, because I love saying that, I think we've seen that this has been one heck of a successful experiment so far. Now, I want to also talk about, well, actually, look, I have it pulled up right here. This is the original photo right here. So this is the Times, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. And that's what was actually included in the original Genesis block, right? So talking about what actually went on in reference to that, BitMEX took an advertisement out on the front page of today's edition of the Times, thanking Satoshi Nakamoto for Bitcoin 10 years to the day after he quoted the front page of the same publication. And that's what we just talked about. So then they had this basically right here. It says, they put this in the block. Thank you, Satoshi, BTC.com. It's a little weird, cryptic looking, but that's what it looks like in the blockchain. So that's really cool. And if you have a look over here, this is it. And look at this. I mean, this is pretty damn big. It's like at least what, like an eighth of the bottom of it. So right here, you can see, hold on, let me get this out of the way. No, can't do this. This is what happens. It's right here, look. So here you go. We owe you one. Happy 10th birthday, Bitcoin. And then you can see they have the little hash at the bottom. So really, really awesome. Now, speaking about Arthur Hayes, he is the CEO of BitMEX. They're the ones that put the ad out, right? So he recently says that Bitcoin is actually society's best hope for a private form of money. Now, he's not exactly been the friendliest guy when it comes to his feelings. I mean, he's a proponent of the space, but he also likes to criticize a lot. But in a recent blog post, he actually proclaimed that centralized e-money, as he put it, is the future of money, describing the synthesis of existing central bank system and our increasingly corporatized economy. Sorry, guys. Hayes used WeChat Pay as an example, the platform which is one of the most innovative payment platforms in China. He says it makes it easy for customers to pay merchants seamlessly on a mobile app connected to your bank account. Very similar to PayPal, a bunch of other things like that. In some cases, he says, though, there's an issue with privacy. They know almost everything about you, what goods and services you purchase, as well as where and when you purchase the item, which can presumably be linked to all other data that they have on you. He also went on further by highlighting the access that these private corporations have on customer information, which he says will make it increasingly easy for government agencies to get access to them as well, which could act as a violation of customers' privacy. So as a solution, he talks about Bitcoin and its peer-to-peer nature, right? He says Bitcoin runs via a network voluntary, independent, and self-interested actors who neither demand nor require any favors or permissions. A few basis points in transaction fees is literally all they want from anyone, and all they're allowed to take. And while the public addresses of Bitcoin wallets, they're public, you can see it happening, they don't necessarily reveal the individual's addresses. I mean, yes, you can leave paper trails and people can figure out who you are, but basically there is an aspect of privacy to it, right? So he basically says perhaps this is society's best hope for a form of private electronic payment. Now, I wanted to talk about what happened to Michaela Peterson. Now, this is Jordan B. Peterson's daughter. We were speaking about him yesterday. He's the guy that had that really successful book, and, he had 2 million sales, and he has a Bitcoin address in the back. This was also piggybacking off of the Tony Robbins tweet. Well, now it looks like his daughter is having violations on YouTube. She says, seriously considering a new platform, YouTube? Is this because some troll decided to report me because I'm, Jordan Peterson's daughter? 3-month strike for exactly what? A Q&A. So, I've seen this myself on my channel. I've had a couple videos demonetized, right? For no reason whatsoever, which is really weird, right? So yeah, you see this happening with these centralized powers. So somebody actually went and suggested, BitTube is decentralized and no censorship, and you could port over all existing YouTube videos. And he actually goes on to say, thank you, I'm doing so now. So we're seeing a lot of people move to decentralized solutions. I mean, unfortunately, this is something that I personally have not really jumped on the bandwagon yet, but I've seen a lot of these dApps unsuccessful. So I'm kind of like waiting for that sort of killer one. I mean, look, if we go over here and we have a look, by the way, you could go here. This is called stateofthedapps.com. I'll leave a link in the description. And they go in here to talk about a bunch of dApps. Now, they don't have every platform on here. They only have Ethereum, EOS, POA, and Steam, which I know clearly that's lacking in a lot of them. But just to kind of point it out right here, you can go over here, you can look at some of the stats. You can see total dApps, daily active users. So this is good. We're growing, right? But here's the thing I wanted to point out. If we go to the dApps and we go to the status and we go to abandoned, look at this. You have 394 completely abandoned, totally. And these are just the dApps that they're talking about. FOMO Unlimited, Cubon, Vault Contract, Hashbet, Nuja Battle, Ponzi Moon. No wonder that one got discontinued. Taurus 0x, FOMO Super, a lot of FOMO. But anyway, so you can see that a lot of dApps do end up getting abandoned over time, and not even just abandoned, but some of them are prototypes, some of them never get finished, etc. So, what can we do moving forward? Well, I say that it's worth trying these out, but if you're looking to do like an investment into a project, like an infrastructure, definitely be careful. So I wanted to talk about how we can, as investors, be a lot smarter moving forward, because there's a lot of people on this channel that are newer, believe it or not, like a lot of new people to the space. A lot of people are asking questions that you would think people would know, but they don't, which is telling me that they're new. So always stay skeptical is number one. And here's some of the things you can do. When someone makes extraordinary claims, okay, they need to supply extraordinary evidence, right? If any claim is made by a project that sounds too good to be true, Well, it probably is, or maybe it is, but you should talk to an external source. See what other people are talking about it. You know, I have a crypto zombie community Telegram chat. We have almost 4,000 members, and we talk about projects all day long. You know, and the thing is, you don't want to FOMO into these things just because everyone's telling you to buy. No, okay? Which brings me to point two, always do your own research. And I know everybody tells you this, right? I sound like a broken record, but inevitably, what's going to happen? Someone's not going to do their research. Someone's going to watch a YouTube video. They're going to go on some crypto news website. They're going to go on crypto Twitter. One of their favorite, creators or influencers is going to tell them to do something, and they're going to do it. So inevitably, do your own research. Also, people complain about buying too high, buying too low. Well, I'll tell you what I do. I dollar cost average. In fact, I just bought some more Bitcoin this morning. I didn't buy Ethereum because Ethereum just pumped, but I bought Bitcoin because it looks like it's going sideways. Now, it could go lower. I could be wrong. But I dollar cost average, and it's not a lot. I'm not buying thousands of dollars worth of Bitcoin. You know, a couple hundred here, a little bit here and there, you know. Some people say, well, that's not enough to make me rich. Well, it wasn't greed what really screwed up the market to begin with. I mean, it's that greed that really destroyed it in the first place. Everyone, I want to get rich quick with the ICOs. This is a long game, okay? Dollar cost averaging is your friend. This way, you're not held to that psychological price you bought in, right? You buy a little bit low, buy a little bit high, buy a little bit in the middle, and then you could sleep at night because you're not freaking out. Oh crap, I bought and now it fell by 30%, right? And the final thing is psychological periodicity, okay? I know, what does that mean? Well, it's really simple. Before investing, consider that you may have to wait several years before you see, a really good return. This market moves in cycles. We've gone over this time and time again. Currently, we are finding ourselves in a very low bottom of the cycle, right? And we've seen that these bottoms can drag out for long periods of time. And then you get that crazy exuberant spike, and then it drags out again, right? So we are in that dragged out period. So if you're new to crypto, if you've been in crypto for a while, if you've been watching this show, you know that one of the things I look at is long term. And honestly, these moments are more of a blessing than a curse, in my opinion. I mean, I look at these long stretched out periods of accumulation as opportunities because, we can only make so much money so fast. You go to your day job, you get paid, right? So think about it. It's actually working out to everybody's favor. Just wanted to point that out, okay? And the other thing is 2018 has a lot of similarities to 2014. The all-time high occurred near the start of the year. Market sold off in stages throughout the year. For most of 2015, Bitcoin was roughly around the $200 mark, and that was an excellent time to acquire Bitcoin. I mean, anyone in 2015, you had the whole damn year to accumulate right around the 200 mark, right? So 2019 might actually be similar to 2015, where the value may stay, deep depressed for quite some time. But remember, we spoke about the halvening, and we do have assumptions. We're assuming this. We don't know for sure, but we think that right around May of this year, we might start to see the price ramp up in anticipation of that next Bitcoin halvening. So just keep that in mind moving forward. Now, let's talk about the nation's first cryptocurrency task force has been announced by a New York State assemblyman via a Facebook post yesterday. Yeah, go New York. Sort of. According to Clyde Vannell, who chairs the subcommittee on Internet and New Technologies for New York, the state will become the first in the U.S. to have such a team dedicated to crypto. He added that the task force will be granted the power to study the regulation, use, and definition of crypto assets. Now, I hope that we start to allow people in New York to have some of the same privileges as some of these other guys. I will show you, for example, what happens, okay? And I'm doing this through Google. So I brought this up. This is Shapeshift, right? Most of you, if you go to shapeshift.io, you should be able to use it no problem. However, if I don't use a VPN, this is what happens. Censored. You guys just saw that live. And that's because I live in New York. So let's get back to this and say. So they say New York leads the country in finance. We will also lead in proper fintech regulation. The task force of experts will help us strike the balance between having a robust blockchain industry and cryptocurrency economic environment, while at the same time protecting New York investors and consumers. And apparently by protecting us, you mean censoring me or censoring things I can use. But New York's cryptocurrency task force, the first of its kind in the nation, shows how our state is leading the way in studying and understanding these technologies to ensure they can thrive in a responsible and effective way. So I am bullish on this news, but at the same time, I hope these guys don't freaking clamp down harder on me. It's bad enough I got to run in circles to do the things that everyone else can do. Okay, rant over. We get it, K-Dub. You live in New York. Enough. Fine. Moving on to Bitcoin Cash, which I'm sure everyone's jumping for joy over this story, but seriously, check this out. So it seems that one single mining pool has actually gained more than half of the total mined blocks on the entire Bitcoin Cash network today. So this is BTC.top, having reported to reach more than half of the total of the Bitcoin hash rate. So according to the data from CoinDance, these guys took over 50.2% of the entire network. So they took over BTC.com, via BTC, Ampool, and Bitcoin.com as well. So while it could have happened to various reasons, it does show that the Bitcoin Cash network is actually very prone to a 51% attack. Now, we're not talking about centralization like on Bitcoin where there's several major pools. I'm talking one. And I can show you right here. Look, my head's in the way. But if I put this up right here, can you guys see this above my head? Do you see that blue? Here, look, I'll get rid of it and then I'll put it back. Look. See, I just took it out. Look right here, right above my head, right here. Look at that. Look at that. 50% of the hash rate, okay? So they say that evidence also shows that 98% of all the Bitcoin Cash nodes are sitting on the same server rack, which exposes the coin to seizures and security threats. Moreover, Alex Simmons, the identity division chief at Microsoft, recently found out that an increase in block size was a threat to decentralization and solutions like the Lightning Network. So while blockchain communities have increased on-chain transaction capacity, block size increases, this approach generally degrades the decentralized state of the network and cannot reach the millions of transactions per second the system would generate at world scale. And if you guys think this is incredible when it comes to block size, go have a look at Bitcoin SV. That thing is massive, okay? Just wanted to point that out. Now, so yeah, I'll drop this in the description if you guys want to look at it. Also, I want to talk about Neo. So this is from Eric Zhang, you know, the Jedi, right? After half a year of development, the improved Neo consensus algorithm, DBFT, is about to be completed. Delegated Byzantine fault tolerance will become the best consensus mechanism for blockchains. With this improvement, DBFT will have more strict finality. Users only need to wait for one confirmation. That's it. One confirmation, 15 seconds to ensure the irreversibility of the transaction and prevent double spending. This is very suitable for financial applications. Now, while Neo has come under a lot of scrutiny, and you guys know I was like probably the biggest Neo fanatic when I first started the channel, they did have a pretty rough year. They had a lot of vulnerabilities. You know, they actually ended up forking even though they're not supposed to be able to fork. And there was a lot of stuff that happened, but they're working towards decentralization. And the other interesting thing that I want to point out is don't forget that CZ from Binance, they actually said that they were looking to use potentially DBFT consensus for their Binance chain. All right, so that's just something to just keep in mind moving forward. Also talking about a little bit of XRP news, we finally have some more decoupling from Bitrue. So we have 5 new XRP pairs. We have Tron, Stellar, Neo, Gas, and Omizego. Also in the same topic, the number of companies adopting Ripple's XRP-powered cross-border payment solution xRapid is actually expanding. This is another criticism that we've had for this. So a total of 12 companies have now confirmed that they either implemented or plan to utilize the technology. So far, Ripple has confirmed crypto exchanges Bitrue, Bitso, Coins.ph, and Bitstamp as well, and they're going to be using this for transactions and payments between the US and the Philippines and Mexico. And they also said that they have payment platforms, I think it's Chalix or Callix, probably said that wrong. Mercury FX and Catalyst Corporate Federal Credit Union are going to use xRapid as well. And then outside of that, they also talk about SBI virtual currencies, IDT, via Americas, Senfriend, Bitrue. So yeah, that's pretty crazy considering that this was all launched back in October. So it's a lot of progress really when you think about it moving forward. Now, I wanted to talk about this exchange as well. DX is launching a NASDAQ tech-powered crypto exchange on January 7th, bridging the gap between cryptocurrencies and real-world stocks. So this is really freaking cool because it's going to be the first exchange to offer tokenized shares of publicly traded companies like Amazon, Facebook, Intel, any of them, okay? And they're not contracts for difference or CFDs. So they will empower traders to buy some of the world's most viable stocks. Now, this is pretty cool because tokenization is something that we're very familiar in crypto. So they're going to be using ERC20s to tokenize the stocks, and they're going to be backed by the actual physical asset itself. So imagine, stuff like Tether, but like there's proof that it's backed. Although Tether says that there's proof that it's backed, but really is it? I don't know. I'm not talking about Tether. I'm done with Tether. But that's pretty good news moving forward. Also, Mike Novogratz, dude, this guy just does not know when to stop. And I commend him for it. Because, he just really shows you how to just believe in something. So it looks like he invested around $5 million more into his cryptocurrency venture fund, Galaxy Digital Holdings. So he purchased 7.5 million ordinary shares of the company, or roughly 2.7%. So it was actually around 4.8 million. This increased his total stake to around 79.3% of Galaxy, which trades on Toronto Stock Exchange's TSX Venture Exchange. And it's crazy because after the news of this, the company's stock jumped 21.36% on the news, reaching $1.25 Canadian at the time. That's pretty crazy. And this comes after a time when, over the first 3 quarters, Galaxy Digital saw losses of around $136 million. And he's still saying that he's feeling good about Bitcoin. He's, optimistic about it, and he thinks that we're very, 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 very close to the bottom, if not at the bottom. So there you go, Mike Novogratz buying more of his old stock, his own fun. So if that doesn't make you guys kind of happy, I thought this article was cool. It's called Good Old FUD, the brightest media burials of Bitcoin in 2018. I love having a laugh all the times Bitcoin died, right? So they go on to some of the best stories of 2018, and you guys can read this. It's pretty fun. And if that's not enough to make you laugh, this really has nothing to do with crypto, but the price of U.S. gas surged Wednesday, with the RBOB gasoline rising more than 5% to reach $1.37 per gallon after opening the day's trading around $1.28 US per gallon on Thursday. However, the price had fallen by 3.7%. But what's funny is it literally fell directly after Donald Trump said, "You think it's just luck that the gas prices are so low and falling? Low gas prices are like another tax cut." But in all fairness, if you look at the chart, I mean, it was falling. But it was pretty funny, was pretty ironic. So that being said, guys, I had a lot of people asking about what's going on with the Coldlar Pro 3 giveaway. So I actually talked to Alex from Crypto Candor. She's the one that handles all the giveaways, and she told me that she's going to be doing it by the end of this weekend. So as soon as I find out when she's doing the giveaway, she'll probably do it on her YouTube channel. I'll let you guys know, and you can go check out the winners, all right? So that's that. And also, just wanted to say shout out to everyone subscribing to the Blockchain Brief. Man, we've had such an impressive amount of people joining and such positive news from you guys. It's really awesome. I want to just say thank you so much. And also to anyone who recently joined, a couple people said, they put their email in and they didn't get the previous issue that's supposed to get sent to you. Well, I found out that they just switched their servers. They were using MailChimp, which I guess isn't very friendly towards crypto. So they ended up switching to a different server. So I guess that was the case of that. But that being said, everything's fine. If you guys have any issues, don't hesitate to reach out. Or honestly, you can just go down here and contact them directly. They're really cool dudes. They'll answer you right away. So that being said, guys, it is Bitcoin's birthday. Happy freaking birthday, Bitcoin. And you know what else it is, guys? It's my 1-year anniversary of being on YouTube. Can you imagine that? I mean, I've been in crypto for longer than that, but I started my channel 1 year ago today. Amazing journey. Thank you so much for everybody that came out, man. You guys rock. Seriously, I'd be nothing without you. I love you so much. Heart to heart, guys. I love you guys, the community. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Can I thank you enough? Is it possible? I don't know if it's possible. But that being said, guys, everyone that's been liking, subscribing, and commenting, you freaking rule. You're the reason that I get out of bed and do this every single day. And if you have stuck it out during this entire bear market, well, you are hands down one of the toughest individuals I've ever met. And that being said, imagine what you have just prepared yourself for in life. I mean, how many people can say they've gone through this? Just think about it, right? That being said, enough is enough. You know I could ramble on for all day at the end of these videos. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. I don't think I need to say it anymore. You know how I feel. That being said, one more day closer to the weekend. It's a party. Let's do it. Bitcoin to the moon. That being said, my name's K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto. Have a freaking awesome day, guys. Thank you so much one more time, and peace out.